Good evening. You're watching the news on Croatian television. December 26th is a national holiday in Croatia where believers celebrate the feast of Saint Stephen, Christianity's first martyr and the symbol of the struggle for justice and forgiveness. Most people spend the day surrounded by friends and family. Traditionally on this day, families begin blessing their homes in preparation for the upcoming year. Morning Mass at the Church of St. Stephen in Split was led by the Archbishop of Split and Makarska, Marin Barišić. In his sermon, he called upon believers to exercise forgiveness in the spirit of St. Stephen.
It's safe to say that a great deal of our local Christian traditions and culture began right here on this spot with the monastery of St. Stephen. When the Benedictines came here in the 11th century, they brought with them a wonderful civilization and a certain spirituality. In addition, St. Stephen's was also a cemetery, and that is why the people of Split have an emotional connection with this place.
Meanwhile, 150 migrants have gathered on the Serbian side of the Croatian border at Tovarnik. The group are pleading with authorities to open the border and allow them to pass into Croatia and the European Union. With Serbian police preventing any further movement, the group has erected a makeshift camp.
We want to stay here until we die. Maybe they open the border and let we go. We
don't want food and water. We just want permission to cross this border.
Government officials in Bosnia and Herzegovina have reacted to a letter written by Ohio Congressman Mike Turner to American Secretary of State Rex Tillerson, asking for the United States to host a reworking of the Dayton Agreement from 1995. The congressman said the document that brought an end to the war in Bosnia and Herzegovina was signed under duress, and that today the country holds special importance for all of Europe. The letter also called for new election laws that would guarantee equal representation for the three constituent peoples: Croats, Serbs, and Bosnian Muslims.
We are well aware of how U.S. congressmen and senators work within the American system. Perhaps this has something to do with political lobbying or something like that. I don't think there's a need for a Dayton Agreement Part 2, and we wouldn't support anything like that. What we want is an internal agreement without the involvement of foreign powers. I am absolutely against any Dayton Agreement Part 2, 3, 4, or any kind of new agreement. Something like that would only drive us further apart. We must all accept the realities of the Dayton Peace Agreement and the constitutions of Bosnia and Herzegovina and the Republic of Srpska. It appears as if the Americans have looked to themselves as the saviors once again. This means that the Americans have come to the realization that Brussels is either incapable or unwilling to make any decisions in the Balkans, and especially here in Bosnia and Herzegovina.
In other news, Istria continues to enjoy one of the most successful years in tourism ever. And over the Christmas holidays, they are expecting a further 20,000 tourists, mainly from Austria, Italy, and Slovenia. Most large hotels, as well as smaller boutique accommodations, are open throughout the peninsula. And despite numbers being slightly lower than last year, tourism authorities say they expect to record around 70,000 overnight stays. In more news from Istria, 500 amateur runners from Croatia and Slovenia took part in a charity race in Umag to gather money for the purchase of a state-of-the-art digital radiography device for the local public health center.
I've known about this race for a long time, and it's always nice to come back home. I love coming here and participating in this race. I feel at home here because I'm from Istra. It's a lot of fun. Last year we collected 13,000 kuna. This year we expect to get around 20,000. Almost all of the money is from participants' entrance fees. The rest will be covered by our sponsors. Absolutely everything we collect goes to charity.
And moving down the coast, where old-timer car buffs gathered to show off their wares in the 19th century resort town of Opatija.
I came here with my old-timer car from the 1960s. It was a little bit difficult driving through the mountains, but now we're here having a great time. Not even the bad weather can dampen our spirits. It's wonderful, and we've got some beautiful cars here. I'm definitely going to keep coming back here to Opatija because it's so beautiful. Those of us who live here are always honored by their visit and the positive attitude they have towards the city of Opatija.
And finally, in Dubrovnik, local motorcycle clubs led by the Libertas Riders organized a charity drive to gather money for a defibrillator for the pediatric wing of the Dubrovnik General Hospital. Bikers also took the opportunity to hand out candies to local children.
We're making kids happy. There's an excellent turnout today and everyone's having a good time.
Taking a quick look at sports, the 66th Annual Croatian Sports Awards took place earlier today. There were no surprises as discus thrower Sandra Perković, the reigning Olympic, world and European champion, was declared the best female athlete for the 6th year in a row. Tin Srbić, the world champion in the high bar gymnastics event, was the best male athlete, while this year's men's world champions in water polo took home the best team award.
Once I got there, I really relaxed. I truly had an amazing time over those 2 weeks at the World Championships. From the qualifications through to the finals, I was so relaxed and I didn't feel any pressure whatsoever. That's maybe why I did so well.
In EBEL Hockey League action, Medveščak was in Austria this evening where they hammered Villach 8-3. This was the first game for new head coach Douglas Bradley, who took over a few days ago from Connor Cameron. The win helped the Bears snap a 9-game losing streak. And in NBA basketball, Croatian forward Dario Šarić and the Philadelphia 76ers were in New York City last night, where they beat the Knicks on the traditional Christmas Day quintuple header 105-98. With millions of fans watching around the world, Šarić recorded 10 points, 3 rebounds, and 3 assists. And the weather forecast for tomorrow calls for mainly cloudy skies and isolated showers along the Adriatic and in higher elevations. More intense rainstorms are expected along the northern coast. Other areas will be partly sunny, with clouds moving in during the afternoon. Parts of the central continent can expect isolated showers. A strong to gale force southeasterly wind will blow along the Adriatic, especially in the afternoon. High winds will increase the wave action on the sea significantly, with waves of up to 4 meters in height on the open seas. Morning lows of 2 to 6 inland and 8 to 13 degrees on the coast will give way to highs of 10 to 15 degrees Celsius around the country and slightly cooler in the mountains. The 3-day forecast calls for heavy cloud coverage and rain on Thursday. Winds coming out of the north and northeast will lead to a drop in temperatures, bringing sleet and snow to higher elevations. Friday night will continue to be unstable, but clear skies are expected on Saturday morning, but noticeably cooler. More rain and clouds are expected along the Adriatic, especially in Dalmatia, where thunderstorms are in the forecast. Friday will slowly clear up, moving down the coast, as rain could linger in the morning in the far south. Saturday will be mostly sunny. A strong northeasterly wind will prevail along the coast on Friday. And that brings us to the end of our program. Thanks for watching. We'll see you again tomorrow night.